What am I on about? Obviously. Hiya, welcome to Craftwerk. I'm Ruthie and today I'm back with another pattern review. Now, first of all, a little word of warning. It is extremely hot in London and it's very humid and muggy. So I've got the windows open and yeah, there might, like a fly might come in. I think there was one buzzing around earlier. So if you see that or if you hear my dog like suddenly running around, that's because of a fly in the flat. Very suitably, I have an extremely summery pattern review for you. Today I'm going to review the Kielo wrap dress by Named Clothing. Now, as you know, I love named clothing patterns. I have made loads of them. This one wasn't one that immediately caught my eye, but I think it was Elisa Lex posted a picture of her wearing it and I just thought it was amazing, so I tried it out. Now I think this is one that confuses people quite a lot because a lot of people make it in a woven fabric like a silk or a cupro or a tencel, you know, lots of really lovely drapey woven fabrics, but actually it suggests and is designed for a jersey fabric. So I'm wearing a jersey version now, but my first two, which I made last year, were in woven. The reason it's taken me so long to do a pattern review is partly because when I made it last year, it was a little while before I started the vlog, and so I find that if I try and do a pattern review too far after I've made it, then I forget some important aspects of it. So I wanted to make it again, but I also wanted to try it as suggested in a jersey, which I hadn't yet done. So now I've made it in both woven and jersey fabrics. I feel like I can give quite a good overview into the pattern, hopefully, and give you a good idea. This is an extremely popular pattern. If you are on Instagram, if you just search Kielo wrap dress, you will find loads of versions and many looking absolutely gorgeous. As I say, it's a very summery pattern, but actually I think there is a sleeve extension pack and lots of people add sleeves and it looks really lovely as a winter or autumn winter jersey dress as well. So the basic of the pattern is, I think it's 5 pieces in total, unless you do like binding or facing, but including the straps it's like 5 pieces. There's 3 for the main body, so 2 on the back and then 1 on the front, and as you can see it's kind of this big wide thing that you then wrap around, and you can wrap it around in a bunch of different ways to whatever suits you or suits the occasion. So I think it's quite a versatile and incredibly flattering shape. As someone who is pear-shaped, I was definitely concerned about it to begin with, and I think, as I say, that's why it didn't immediately jump out at me, because it looks like it's got quite a lot of extra fabric at the hips. I felt like it would probably make me look bigger at the hips and even more pear-shaped, but actually I don't think it does, and everyone that I've seen make this just looks really great in it. It's really flattering. The other thing is it's very comfortable. And as I say, you can decide to change it up however you like. You can tie it up around the back and that looks great, or you can wrap it towards the front, which looks really nice. So first of all, I've made it in 2 woven fabrics. I've made it in a silk and in a chiffon, and then now I have made it in a jersey. I was interested in it for some woven fabrics that I have, but I'm really happy that I've made it in a jersey now, and that's kind of why I've waited as well. I wanted to try it as a jersey pattern to really give it the full chance of a review, if that makes sense. And as I say, it's so popular, I wasn't sure I needed to do a review, but sometimes I feel like the more popular patterns, the more people want to know, and I particularly wanted to talk about it with regards to the woven versus jersey aspect of this pattern. So all these fabrics I can't remember where they're all from. I think the grey one was from Mr. Fabrics in Lewisham last year, which is unfortunately closed down. The chiffon is from Rolls and Rems. It was a remnant. And then this one is a jersey. It's very stretchy. I would say it's more than 60% stretch. I haven't tested it properly, but it's one of the stretchiest jerseys I've ever worked with. It's very light and drapey. It's got this amazing leaf print on, and it is from Maggie's Fabrics in Lewisham, which is a stall which I've talked about quite a lot, and they sell like dead stock and remnants and just kind of like sample lengths from the fashion industry. Because of the amount of stretch, it did move around a lot more than other jersey fabrics that certainly that I'm used to. So in terms of the pattern with regards to those fabrics, the first one I made, which was the grey one, I didn't make any alterations to the pattern. I just kind of went slightly on the bigger size. I tend to be in between sizes, so I went for the bigger size. The main fitting issue I had was around the bust, which is the only place where this is a fitted dress. So yeah, around the bust area, it was a little bit too small. It's okay, it's wearable, it looks better with a bra than without, because as I say, it's a little bit too tight, and for some reason with a bra, it's just a bit more comfortable, I guess. Then when I made the chiffon one, I did a full bust adjustment, just a really tiny full bust adjustment, and I'll link down below the tutorial I used to do that adjustment. I really didn't make much of an adjustment. I knew I only needed just a little bit of breathing space, and it made all the difference and was way better. However, also the bust dart is a little bit too high, which I find quite a lot. I must have a lower apex than other people or than traditional patterns or whatever. Either way, I sometimes have to move a bust dart down, so I didn't do that for my chiffon one, but I have done that for my jersey. Because it's designed for a jersey fabric, you often find that you don't want to do as much of a like things like full bust adjustments, because the stretch allows for that, whereas in a woven it's not allowed for. So that's how it's designed, and that's why even though I very rarely have to do a full bust adjustment on other patterns, I did have to do it when sort of converting it to woven. And I've seen other people say that as well when they've been doing the Kielo wrap dress as a woven, in a woven fabric rather than in a jersey fabric. People have talked about the different adjustments they've made to accommodate for the lack of stretch, and most people seem to have found that just a full bust adjustment kind of does the trick. The other thing I've done differently in the jersey is I've shortened it. This is kind of on purpose and kind of just because of the amount of fabric. I really love a kind of midi length, especially when I'm trying to make something a bit more casual, and this works so beautifully for that. So those are all the changes that I've made and all my thoughts. In terms of the pattern and construction, it's very simple. So if you haven't made a named clothing pattern before, this is a very good one to start with. There are definitely some steps that are less thorough than maybe other pattern companies would do them, if that makes sense. And named clothing never say something like stay stitch, or pretty much never like tell you to stay stitch on curves or any seam that's like on the bias or something. So I didn't stay stitch around the neckline here, and I wish I did. I have kind of stretched it out a bit. So what I did was I used a bias tape binding rather than just hemming it. If I had stay stitched it, I think I could have just hemmed it and that would have been fine. And I have definitely stretched out the armholes a bit. Again, I just think that I should know by now. So I don't blame named clothing on that. I know that one of the issues that I find with their patterns is they don't remind me to stay stitch, and if they don't remind me to stay stitch, then I always forget. And that is, I really, as I say, I really should know by now. because it's so straightforward, there aren't really any bits where you get completely confused, and it goes together pretty much as you expect it to go together. So if you've made anything before, pretty much, you'll probably be able to tackle this. And I honestly believe it's one of those patterns, one of those garments that just suits like everyone. I've never seen it not look right on anyone, even if you're a little bit unsure as to whether it will suit your shape. Like, I would say give it a go, because it, on paper, you would think it would be the worst thing ever for my body shape, but actually in reality I think it's really flattering. I really love it. I find it so comfortable, and oh my god, you just look so put together. The only thing that I would change about it is pockets. And if anyone has any ideas of where on the dress I could put pockets, I would love to know, because the side seams end up wrapping around you, so you can't put pockets in there. So yeah, that's it from me today. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so, and you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. But that's it from me this week. I hope you have a fab week, and I will see you again next Sunday. Thanks for watching. Bye.